Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay. So hello everyone. Myself Shrikant here, and today I have a guest. His name is Sahib Singh. So before I introduce himself, I will try to introduce him by showing his LinkedIn profile. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. Is it visible, Sahib?
Yeah,
Okay. So Sahib Singh, currently in Mumbai, and I happen to meet him on LinkedIn. So we'll go through his profile. So he has worked as a customer billing person in Ganpati Carrying Corporation, then freelancer graphic designer, and then commute desk solution for 5 year 11 months. He was into product design and quality assurance, multiple roles. He was a lead technical product specialist in Frightify for 3 years, and currently he is working as a process and efficiency lead in Navtor. So this is basically from shipping domain, shipping company. Okay. Apart from this, Saib Singh has also this his personal blog, and this is the main reason I happened to connect with him. I saw his blogs, and they are quite, I would say, catchy, and then I want to read each and every blog. So yeah, welcome, Saib. Can you please introduce yourself?
yeah. Hi everyone. Hello, Shrikant. Yeah, so I'll try to set some context as we followed from your introduction. I would not be coming from the theory part, or the things that you generally go through the textbook. So most of my work has been, from the close real operations, from rates for the cargo moving, people transporting, and money transactions, cargo deals, and people waiting for those things. So the conversation that happens when people interact with the software, and the consequences on the real world when something is missed at software, and how it impacts the operations in real life, and how we see and get those teachings at a system level, at a career level, and decision making. And that's overall my exposure POV is from. And more of to about me, as in, if I have to summarize what I do, I work where software meet the physical reality. And in logistics and maritime tech, software is not abstract. So a wrong alert, or bad data, or a missed signal can mean fuel loss, or compliance issue, or even safety risk. So the environment forces clarity very fast. And my career journey, I have been into multiple roles, have worn multiple hats, not because it was in a way where I approached it, because I found out the problems and I moved towards them. So being in operations, it taught me the reality as to how things really work, how people interact with things. And then being in support, it taught me the real pain points. And in fact, there's a new open source project which I have just built, which is with for the support guys, and people who are working into ticketing system. It's to analyze their ticket locally using AI, finding out the real pain points that the customers are saying over the years, and taking some actionable things. Maybe if we have time, or in some sessions, I'll share you and give an overview for that as well. And then surrounding that, tech has taught me how system breaks, because they are prone to break, and then when it breaks, it shows us what we are missing, and where we have to fill the gap between the real world and how the tech works. And product taught me the trade-offs that we have to pull sometimes, and that's the combination of shaped how I think today. And with respect to QE perspective, the shift is moving beyond the test cases. And testing output is important, but understanding flow is what makes you valuable. When you understand how data moves, why alert exist, and how human reacts under pressure, your testing becomes strategic and not mechanical. It's understanding the real outcome, and the uh, deliverables, and the way how it really affects your users. Seeing the business understanding, and the business value that you bring to the business by understanding how yeah.
Yeah, so I think pretty much the intro part we are done for now. So the for the audiences, right? So
Yeah.
let's start with some basic thing. Um, so let's say somebody is at your position,
Yeah.
and that person is taking interview. Let's say from the quality QE side or quality engineering side. So
Yeah.
what are the top 2 to 3 tips you want to give to those person? Or let's say if you are conducting interview, what are the 2 to 3 things, top 2 3 things you would uh, definitely need in the resume or in the interview. So, what is it from your side?
See, for the QA community, as from my personal understanding and experiences, that you will find a lot of skilled up and technically asserted people in the industry. But what makes you really stand off is not just having those technical understanding as to how to perform your test cases and deep dive making those reports and working around those things. It's more of really understanding the value of those test cases or those test scenarios and the uh, complete understanding that you're trying to build as in part of QE is how it is really shaping the product and the customer at the end of the day. Once you have cracked that understanding, once you really try to understand how the data really moves inside your product rather than just trying to understand that okay, this is not working as the requirement, but as to going deep down into really understanding why is that requirement really needed. Is it helping in the way that business is going to get impacted, coming at to the level where you have the business understanding and business exposure as well as the technical exposure. And automation is growing a lot, and most of the firms and the professionals who have been working with are looking into a lot of automations. AI is quite a part of it, but they don't want to just implement AI as in a sticker or a wrapper around it, but they really want it to be the real core engine to understand the real context of the business and then be part of your automation
File always also, and you mentioned about um, the different breakup. Any quick interview
yeah.
tips or anything you want that should be there in the
So
resume?
yeah, so as so picking up some bits and pieces from my previous part is that the interviews are not about tools. They're about clarity. The more clarity you give about something that you have really worked on or something that you're really working on is gives the understanding about gives the understanding about how deep and how well you know those things. The problem that you owned, the constraints that you faced, and what changed because of your work, the impact that you made. It's not just about the roles and responsibility that you handle, and this should reflect in your resumes as well. It's about the numbers and adding the figures of how much impact that you created. And if you can do that with clarity, tools matter very far less. Yes, they are very crucial, but to give an understanding about how much of an impact did you make with those tools is what's important.
Okay. So how do they upskill themselves? What are the things they should upskill them?
So yeah, as you can see in the pointers as well. So yeah, layer one, it says about the foundations of understanding your system deep well, because when you're starting, you don't just want to start off with the existing test cases or the existing documents. If it's well documented in the organization that you're working in, that's well and good. But if it's not, and if there is no structure of understanding things, APIs, logs, and network logs would be the key things to start off with, because those tell you how the data moves, how the system is interacting, how the transactions are happening inside the system, and you can make your own documentation and your own set of understanding out of that. And going to a deeper level or next level is understanding the system and thinking at a system level, where you are understanding about the failures and the models and the latency and the dependencies that the system have on each other, different services that are involved, and how the back end front end interacts, what are the services that we have, which servers we are running on. Thinking at a completely system level, how our system works in whichever product you're working on, be it cloud or traditional. And and then level three would be while doing these two things constantly, leveraging the automation, as I mentioned previously, that's what's crucial right now, to and implement AI in that, but not to go heavy into AI just for the sake of having it. Really making it work and understanding how you understand things is you would want to implement AI with low code, not too code intensive, but it does the job in a way where it's really required. Because I would see a lot of projects where people would have just added AI for the sake of adding it, or
Mm.
adding it in the portfolio, but it should solve some real problem that is making an impact, and it's not that cost effective as well. Because at the end of the day, when if you have the liberty in your job to explore around with things and play around with things, be it in your personal project or be it in your professional project, you have to think of the cost as well as to the implementations that you do. And with the first two layers, the third one is
So,
s-
so just to have a tangent on this AI part, because a lot of podcasts I have seen, this is the elephant in the room. Give me one or two example, one or two use cases where we really leveraging AI is useful. Okay, for example, let's say um, low code or data generation. So anything, can you give me a use case?
yeah, so once you have the understanding of your system, how it works, for example, you understand your API communication, and you already have a lot of automation tools, but every time you have to run the workflow on your own manually. So implementing AI over here in a way where it's seamless for you to run the automation, where you just have to check the reports and not work on the technical aspect of it once you set it in, as for the QE part. And even as for the data generation, you can use it to mine the data from your current test cases, or you can run it, you can use it to analyze your current test cases and tools that you're running, you're using those APIs and extracting key informations from that and creating your own kind of a repository or data set of things that you can further use for testing, be it manual or automation.
This um, yeah, could you expand on this AI thing? So we started discussing somehow, but then yeah, AI is changing roles, not eliminating them. Yeah, what is your take on it?
Yeah, so see, it's not really eliminating people as such. It's really about the organization, how they see they want to implement AI into their work, workforce, and how they see it in a way. And it depends from industry to industry, wherein for starting from data entering industry, it might not be a lot for them. If they have workforce or if they don't have workforce, they can manage it from AI or not. If we can they can do it with humans. But it's changing the way for the tech people to do things much more seamlessly, and as I said, doing the system thinking rather than focusing on the code. So now, how it is helping the tech people, or the tech folk or the developers, is more of to not worry a lot about the code that they're writing, but to worry more about, or to think and brainstorm more about the systems that they're building. And that is where the engineering part will still be required, because there are a lot of unique things and unique inventions that still humans can do. AI might not do those things on its own. It will assist you building something completely new, but it might not give you an idea of building something new. So in that way, it is changing the way how we see things. Let's say for a junior QE who is joining, in a traditional manner, they would be just doing off the things with the manual training and understanding things. And you might consider that, okay, by implementing an AI agent or a AI bot or AI workflow, I would not need a junior QE person, and I can directly have a senior person who can manage these things. That's true for a very small volume, or if you're a small startup, or if something that you don't have, you don't have a lot of volume. But if you have a fully grown large system, and you have good transactions, you have good business, you have a very complex system, you would still need those people over there in place to do their job, but they would do it much more efficiently with the help of AI. And
Because you are from that background, that industry, so you know better. But let's say a common person, okay, so shipping industry is what we understand, and I'm taking a
yeah,
use case. Let's say I want to ship, some box from, let's say, some personal gift from my place to, let's say, US, where my friend is there or my relatives are there. So I go to one courier company, for example, and I'll say, okay, I want to do this, and they will calculate some rate, and they'll say, okay, this is what they agree that they will deliver it in, let's say, 6 7 days if you go by shipping or by airplane, and then they'll do a weight or something, and then they tell the rate. Now tell me, how, if I have to do it by shipping because it's cost effective, uh, what are the ways for getting the rates, how the, let's say, a courier company can get the rates from shipping company, and then the negotiation. So can you explain more on that?
Yeah, so generally, big shipping companies, they do not entertain, or they do not hand off directly to an individual who would want to do this. So there will be different layers of people involved in this. There would be agents, there would be distributors, and these guys are the one who would be holding rates from multiple rate providers. As I mentioned previously,
Yeah.
there are MERS, there's DHL, there are many other providers. They would hold rates from these people, and they would hold rates of different module for your air freight, for your last mile delivery, which is your on ground, your truck rates, and then your sea rates. So these will be different set of more mode rates that they will have. And whenever an end user like me, as a businessman who, let's say for example, produce a lot of I have a manufacturing unit of tires, and I would want to send it and export it to various different regions, maybe in the same country or outside my country. I would reach out to such dealers and agents, and then in a general scenario, it would all work on phone calls or manual visits and trying to negotiate on rates. And based on the volume, they will set their own margin on these, because they get the rates from the main providers. These distributors and agents add their own margins to that, and then they sell it to me. And again, when I'm doing the business, I will add my own margin of transportation and sell it to the end user again, with those rates and things included in that. So in a general scenario, that's how it would work. So, but if you would not want to work it that way, and there are different stakeholders and actors over here for who you would want to solve the problem over here, as in the tech industry, you want to solve the problem for the end users who's trying to book the cargo and who's trying to send the consignment. For them, we already have a lot of solutions like shiprocket and other services who have been integrated with different providers, and then they give you those services. The part where I'm talking about, where I have worked in the system where they have built the solution for, is for these agents, these distributors, and the large companies who hold these rates from various providers and have different vendors to which they do business with, and they have duration for these rates also. For example, sending 100 kgs of goods for a specific dimension from point A to point B is 100 rupees uh, for 6 months of duration or 3 months of duration. So after that particular time, and once the contract is over or the duration is gone, these rates change again from point
So
B from
talking about the
manufacturing unit.
rates, yeah,
Yeah.
talking about the rates, okay, let's talk about the rates only. So what you're saying is rates are obviously different for, let's say, an individual person.
Different providers. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Uh,
Yes. It's
let's say
it's
I'm a,
based on volume, and it's based on the things also that they're sending, based on the dimension, weight, and other characteristics of the items
hmm.
that they're
And
committing.
also probably, if I'm a repeat customer, or if I have to send it, let's say, for
No, so
next
so
1 year.
yeah. No, so generally, you have contract. If it's a long-lasting business, you will set up a contract, and you will get rates only based on those contracts. So no matter how the industry shifts or how certain things happen, there will be certain rates which will not fluctuate as far as your contract is valid,
Hmm.
and you will get the rates for the stipulated time that contract is valid for your business.
Hmm. Okay, sounds interesting. Now coming to the tech part, so you mentioned about delayed, so this data stuff, right? So what is the data here like? So
So there,
vessel
yeah, so
data.
there is yes, no, not the vessel data. Here, when you're transporting things, the data is about the logistics that you're shifting. So operations data, there is a lot of operations data that happens on ground, that happens uh, after your rate is finalized. So you would be, transporting suitcases, for
Hmm.
example. So a lot of data is built around that. And when it goes to different stages, if you would have if you would have tracked your consignment sometime, maybe you would have ordered
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Flipkart,
yeah.
or if you would have ordered from a traditional business who is not on Flipkart and Amazon, and when they give you a tracking ID and when you try to track it, maybe
Mm,
from Blue Dart, DHL, you would see the different stages, how it goes from one warehouse to different warehouse, the scanning happens, the bill of landing paper and other details are created, and meta information is added to your consignment. Is the different kind of data sets which are created with different steps and different modes when the consignment is going through. And that is what creates a lot of delay and a lot of noise as well. And sometimes when you understand that there are a lot of, there for in India, during like festival like Diwali and our traditional big business festive events, a lot of things move around a lot. And during
mm.
that time, there is a lot of noise, there is a lot of delay and incomplete information, and a lot of things happen during that time, and it's operationally very tricky. And at that particular point of time, it does not matter if your tech is working or not, the operations cannot stop.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, now moving on. So vessel monitoring. Yes, because we have seen a lot of containers in different companies, marks and other thing. So technically, we'll talk about vessels. So yeah, walk us through vessel monitoring. Very simple approach. Let's set up three to 4 points.
Yeah. So, you would be tracking and looking onto the data of, this is not about the containers, and it's about the ships and the vessels who carry these containers. It's they have to they have to keep track of the position of the ship, the speed, the route diversion that happens, the weather, fuel usage, and the compliance log, which is the crucial part of it, is what the management and the vessel management companies would want to see, how the vessels are performing and what's happening into that. And the hardest part is, it's not collecting the data, it's whether deciding what matters right now when you are capturing it. And hierarchy matters more than the volume, because the way how you function on ship is completely different how you would function it on in a traditional business.
Mm,
And if a certain engineer is assigned to capture certain data sets, they have to do it cannot be done by some other person. It's
mm.
their job, and it's heavily relied and dependent on them.
Okay. So some of the pointers, as you mentioned, position, speed, route, deviation,
Yeah.
sorry, weather, fuel compliance. So
Yes.
a dashboard in a typical dashboard, these are the things probably will be available
Yes.
in the real
In
time.
typical dashboards, these things are there, and most of these things in modern vessels come from the sensors directly. And in some of and most of them, it has to be captured manually, for example, your compliances part, and
Mm.
the position and other things. But most of the things comes from the sensors and the latest technology that you have.
Sorry. Okay, you mentioned about manual things. So I'm a bit surprised, like what manual things are still there as on today. No? What is that manual things?
So, yeah, let me showcase a lot, give you a more overview in that. So, when a ship is functioning or a vessel is functioning, there are a lot of compliances that you have to manage, because it's running openly on a water body, and the water body is used for a lot of things, and it harms the nature, and it does a lot of things. So there are governing bodies and authorities who directs you that when you're running a vessel, you have to follow certain guidelines. You cannot pollute the water, you cannot do a lot of air pollution, you cannot burn a lot of fuel, you cannot be over certain limit in certain areas, you
Mm,
cannot maneuver in certain places. There are a lot of these things that you have to take consideration of, and you have to log these things on daily basis as far as you are on running on the water bodies. From the second you have started your journey from the shore and you're in the bodies, and then you're going back to the shore again, which is your point B, you have to log each and every interaction and each and every things that happens as from the compliance point of view. Now there are two things that you capture over here. One is with respect to the environmental part, wherein you capture the oil usage, the water usage, and the garbage that you have on the ship, and how you destroy them, and what do you do with them. So you have to do those things, but you have to keep log of those things as well. That
mm.
is what is done manually. And apart from this, then you have different log which are operational log, where you would have to capture and keep track of your how your engine is performing, how much fuel you have consumed, what's the temperature of it, and your radio signals and other equipments which are needed for the operational tasks, how they are functioning well. So you have to keep track of these things on a daily basis, how operational they are. And whenever the vessel gets internet connectivity, these information is set over the air or in blobs.
Moving on, so right, so yeah, now I think we have a not deep but a good level of understanding the shipping, the rates, and then service thing, the dashboard thing, so some tech part of it. So being from that domain, daily operations. So what are the things which are ops or QE or tech related? And you mentioned about product misalignment. Can
Yeah.
you walk me through? Yeah.
Yeah, so see, as when you are from these different roles, ops, QE, tech, and from products. So these all people are not very unrelated to each other, because at the end of the day, you have to understand the core meaning of this is you're all working together to solve the same problem for the business. So we all need to work in harmony with that. It cannot be a different understanding for a same solution with different people. So ops would say, because ops over here, I would say they are the business over here, because they understand what's happening on the ground, and they bring out most of the crucial requirement that would impact the business and that would save and help make things much more efficient. So they have those key understanding of how certain things work. So they have a completely different understanding and core and real understanding of how things needs to be implemented. Then comes the product over here, who needs to be well aligned with this understanding. And then comes the tech and QE over here, which are not two different things, by the way, because when you say tech, QE is part of tech. They are not any different, because they are also working on the same systems. They're just validating and making sure that what they have built is working as per the expectations of the ops and product both. So yeah, the key things, what I have experienced, or what I would have seen as well, being part of product team as well, is when you have very narrow deadlines, and when you have certain expectations or business deliverables which are very compact, it makes very difficult for you to document and give that same understanding to everyone at the same time. But
So
you should.
here, yeah, yeah, sorry to cut off. So I would like to take one practical use case, okay,
Yeah.
maybe relevant. So coming from the tech perspective,
Yes, yes,
let's
yeah.
say we'll take a currency conversion case. So
Yes.
let's say today there is a currency exchange rate, okay, let's say rupees to euro, rupees to dollar. So
Yeah.
I pay at today's rate,
Yeah.
and I got a confirmation that okay, the contract is done. Probably
Yeah.
the currency uh, rate may change, may be profitable, may be loss from the company perspective. So how do you see the product alignment here or the ops alignment here?
See, they need to be aligned with a common system which they can rely on over here. When you say currency, it's quite sensitive, and you make a lot of decision based on that and how it
Yeah.
changes. So the system that they would refer to with respect to referring for the currency conversion, because when I mentioned the freight industry previously, and when I mentioned rates, it was something maybe I did not put a lot of highlight on, is that the rates are in different currencies, and when you're shipping your consignment from point A to point B, and point B being different country, the currency changes, the conversion happens. So those things needs to reflect in your quotation as well.
Hmm.
So as and when you're building the system, the tool or the solution that you use for currency conversion needs to be much more accurate and should be reliable, because there are a lot of implementations available that you can use to incorporate the currency conversion into your system, and then use that for your actual data and give it in real time to the users, and sometimes even implement the real live currency chart, which is what we used to also do. Is we used to show the conversion based on the time of when the quotation was generated, but we used to share the link as well of the live currency exchange, because these things are subjective to how it changes when you're actually doing the business at operational level.
Hmm. So exactly. So making one or two parcel is maybe it's okay, one of two of requirement. But if it is a year-long contract or a repeated contract, then there has to be something which
Yes,
is
yes, those
real
things
time.
are subjective. Yeah, currency. So currency exchange and the rate change, how it happens, those things are subjective. Even in the
Hmm.
contract, those things are subjective.
Okay, okay. So there are chances it may not
So
be a
for you,
fixed
if
rate.
you have to pay $65 for a unit, if for you, if as per your contract, if you have to pay $65 per unit, uh, you will have to pay $65 itself only. It's just that based on the currency, the way how it changes the rate per rupee for you.
Hmm.
In INR, you would be paying more, but you'll still have to pay $65 on.
Okay, so again, maybe just adding more detail into it. Let's say I have a contract of, let's say, 24 months. Every month I'm doing, let's say, 100 kg. Let's say tires example. So today rate is X and it might change to X plus 1 or X minus 1. So over a period of time, will it be beneficial for both the parties to stick to the fixed rate, or should it be the current rate in every month or
So
every quarter?
So there are multiple components over here for the rates that you get as a structure. So you don't just get rate for one particular thing. There are different components, and there are certain rates which are flexible across the contract. And when you do those consignment, you get flexibility on those rates.
Hmm.
And there are certain rates which are fixed, irrespective of whatever happens. Those rates stays fixed.
Okay, okay. So there are different combinations available. Yeah. So I think this is a very good insight. Of course, from the shipping or uh, shipping or maybe transportation, maybe logistics, we covered a bit of a good umbrella, different things. Definitely, let's have probably another session or maybe sessions to cover multiple
Yeah,
points. Um, so yeah, thanks, Saib. Thanks for your insight. And
yeah.
it
Thanks,
was really
Shrikant.
great to understand the non-conventional or say non-lucrative domains, but there's a huge set of opportunities. So definitely we'll like to explore much, and definitely thanks for your inputs.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.